Hey everybody, how we doing? Brian DeFebre here. Coach D, I'm in the lion's cage, where I like to be. And got the trusty back scratcher. You got yours, I got mine. You gotta have one, get a back scratcher. All right. Okay, so here's the deal. Today is Tuesday, it's the 16th of July. Yesterday, I got to see Dr. Schaefer finally for my follow-up appointment on my shoulder. Today is 2 weeks, okay, 14 days from my surgery. He was out of town on vacation, so I didn't get to see him until yesterday. That's no problem. This thing's not going anywhere. So good appointment with Dr. Schaefer yesterday. He took a look at it, he checked my range of motion, and he says it looks good. He says the bicep looks good. I'm still kind of tight in shoulder flexion. I don't like my arm going up here, and external rotation was tight, but that's to be expected. He said the bicep looks good, so what that means is the attachment is going to take real well. Oh, and here's a quick look at these little cuts. This is the last time I'll show you, probably. I know you really don't care to see what little scars look like, but that's how small they are, just tiny little slots or cuts or whatever. And I know you don't want to see my shrinking arm and shoulder. Anyway, basically where we are now is he wants to keep me in the sling for 4 more weeks. That's to make sure to protect the bicep, okay? With that tenodesis, that tendon reattachment, we got to protect it. I can't do anything active to activate that bicep. What I can do from this point now is start passive range of motion, and that's when somebody else is moving my arm for me, okay? But only at the elbow. We're not going to do flexion or external rotation or anything like that. Just real easy to keep my elbow, the integrity of my elbow good, and because it can get really tight just being in this chronic flex position here. So I can't start formal rehab for 4 more weeks because this thing's got to stay locked down. But that's all right, because I'll be doing my own training and I'll be doing some documenting of that, and that's what we'll be doing moving forward from this point. So good visit with Dr. Schaefer yesterday. I go back to see him in 4 more weeks. So here's what else I wanted to talk about today. Something interesting happened the other day. Oh, by the way, I'm going to make a disclaimer here. I'm going to talk about God real quick, okay? All right, so why do I make that disclaimer? Because some people, they don't like that. They don't like to talk about God, religion. That's fine. I'm not going to preach, but it's important that I talk about what's important to me, okay? And that's it. That's all it is. So what happened the other day, Saturday, was the first bad day that I've had, really the only bad day I've had so far, but it didn't have anything to do with my shoulder. I woke up Saturday morning, and actually this pain woke me up Saturday morning. And it was a sharp pain that I felt with every breath, with every inhalation, on the right side of my chest and kind of around the flank. It felt like it was in the soft tissue, like the fascia or just the tissue, the connective tissue working around. It wasn't chest pain like cardiac or anything like that. I knew that, and it wasn't tightness or shortness of breath. It was not that. But it kept getting worse throughout the day, to the point where even just a little breath was very painful, almost a sharp pain. I knew I didn't want to go to the hospital because I knew that's not what I needed. What I knew was, so what I did was I called my chiropractor, because what I knew, I just had this feeling that it was something that had to do with the fact that I've been sleeping on my right side for 10 or 11, 12 days in a row. And so with that, that's a position of chronic position of misalignment, of poor alignment or poor positioning. So I knew something was going on. I called my chiropractor on Saturday. They're closed. So I left a message. The assistant called me back, and I got the number. Anyway, my chiropractor said, yeah, sure, I'll meet you at the office. So I go to the office. He gives me an adjustment in my neck, some adjustments in my thoracic spine, my middle back, a little bit on the ribs, and a little bit of the shoulder and the scapula. And the pain instantly was cut in half. So I knew we were doing the right thing. By the time I got home, it had come down a little more. when I was going to sleep later that night, it crept up a little bit to the point where it was still uncomfortable, and it took me a while to get back to sleep. Here's what I did. I said a prayer, all right? I just prayed, God, I pray that in the morning, you know, you'll heal me of this pain and just take this pain away. I don't want it, and I just make it a distant memory is what I pray. So I wake up. What I had to do is I had to go back to sleep on my right side. It's the only way I could sleep. And here's the thing. As a doctor, a chiropractor, a therapist, you know, they're going to say if sleeping on your right side caused the problem, well, don't sleep on your right side. I mean, that's obvious, you would think. Hey, doc, you know, my arm hurts when I do this. All right, well, don't do that. That's the obvious thing. If sleeping in this position brought on the pain and the discomfort, the wrong thing to do would be to go back to that improper or misaligned position. But I had no choice. It's the only way I can fall asleep. So I wake up in the morning, the pain is gone immediately. I mean, I just sat up on the bed, I took a couple breaths, the pain was gone. It was zero. It was as if it hadn't even been there. I said, thank you, God. You healed my body, you healed the pain, you took it away. I give credit to the chiropractor because his adjustments certainly helped. You got to have the work of the hands as well. So I'm good. It was great. Here's the point behind all this. If you've got an injury or you're rehabbing something, it's going to have an effect on every part of your body, all right? The body is basically a kinetic chain where the shoulder is connected to the hip and the hip bone connected to the knee bone and all that. So anything that you do differently than normal or take away a movement or have to change to a different position repeatedly, it's going to have an effect, maybe negative, on other parts of your body. What you have to do is you have to be instinctive and have intuition as to what's causing it, what the problem may be, and then you got to seek out the right help for that problem to get to the root of the problem. Don't go, now I'm not bashing doctors, but the thing is, you don't want to go get some prescriptions and pop some pills and just treat the symptom, okay? You want to get to the root of the problem. That's what I did, and they call it, you know, in training we call it auto-regulation. That basically means if you're going to be working out, you're training, sometimes you can base your training session or your workout on how you feel that day. What's going on with your body, with your mind, with all different types of influences going on. Auto-regulation. I just like to call it instinct, you know. Having the insight to know when something's not right. And here's the thing. Pain is your body telling you something's wrong. And I've done it myself. We all do it. If something hurts, you push through it, you grind through it, you man up. And that's not necessarily bad, but the pain is still there and it's telling you something's wrong. You got to address it, get to the root of the problem and get it fixed so you can move on, hopefully so it doesn't get worse like this 3 or so years ago. Anyway, pain is your body telling you something's wrong. So get to the root of the problem, all right? Be aware of yourself. Be aware of your body. That's why I don't take any prescription meds. I like to have a clear mind so I can be aware of what's going on and be intuitive to what's going on so that when something doesn't feel right or really bad, I can get to the root of it, get it fixed, and move on, all right? So that's my message for today, all right? Be aware of what's going on with your body. Know and understand that if you've got an injury or a disability, it's going to have an effect somewhere else on your body, all right? So be prepared for that. Seek out the right professional, qualified help and get the job done, all right? Good enough. So, hey, I talked a lot. Hope you like it. Hope you didn't tune me out. And I'm going to go now, and we'll be back with more videos now, working on my training and anything. Hey, if you got questions for me, If you got questions for me about this or anything else, you can leave a message or email on the video comments, or you can email me. Here's this. My email, thelionscage@hotmail.com. All lowercase, thelionscage@hotmail.com. Brian DeFebre or Coach D or whatever you want. And maybe we can get some interaction going with this, all right? I appreciate that. So thanks for watching now. Thanks for listening. And we'll be back for more later. Coach D, check it out.